I've been trying to get ready for sixth summer for the past month or so. The time is really going by fast. I got a deal on a rust-free truck box earlier this spring and ended up putting a bunch of time in my tow rig. I sealed and painted both the box and the frame rails of the truck. It took a bunch of time to do, but it turned out great. And the truck, to be honest, is way overdue for an update. The plan is to put the drag and drive trailer in the back when I trailer down to the first track. The trailer is also a work in progress, as you will see. All the work I did with the carburetor over the winter hasn't been proven out on the engine yet either. It's good to hear this thing run again after a long winter. With all the modifications I've done, I had to retweak some of the adjustments. I do a lot of my idle speed setting on the secondary side of the carb so that I keep the front idle screw almost all the way backed out. This keeps the engine near perfect, just cruising around and at highway speeds. I did mess with the mixture screws too, just to make the engine run a little happier. I don't remember moving them around when I did flow bench work, but they could have been bumped or moved at some point. I tried to drive it around a little bit to burn some of last year's E85 out of it. For what it is, it actually does pretty decent on fuel. I didn't lay into it at all. I'm just trying to make sure the cruise tune-up is close and put some miles on to remind myself what needs to be looked at. The AEM gauge is set to lambda. Basically, one means that the mixture, according to what is being read in the exhaust, is perfect. Less than one is richer, more than one is leaner. I drove it to work on a 50-mile commute. I reminded myself that I jetted up the primary size one size when I was at the track last fall. The temperature was much warmer today than it was then. The cruising around is the fun part for me. In order to get ready for an event like this, it really is a ton of work. I try to keep the costs low by doing as much as possible by myself. I'm going to do some simple maintenance on this and nut and bolt some of the important things before I take it to the track. I'll probably drain the transmission, clean out the screen, drain and fill the gear vendor, and probably drain the sediment off the bottom of the rear end and top it off. Other than that, there's nothing really broken on the car. This is the first time I've had the pan off of this one since I put it together. It's been roughly about 9 years. I'd say this doesn't look too bad at all. Getting this trailer together was a project. The best aluminum tube I could get was 3.5-inch, half wall thick. The local place said that they couldn't even order me any of the sizes I needed because a lot of the sizes were already on back order. Cutting 1/4-inch thick aluminum deck plate with a wood blade is apparently a thing. If you go slow, you get a really nice cut. It's way easier than using a grinder or cutting wheel. We turned down the tube diameter so that the wheel adapter could pilot on the ends of the tube. This length barely fit in the lathe and we had to run a support just to cut it. Burning it together with the spool gun wasn't great either. We preheated the crap out of it and it still didn't look great. We're over the thickness of that the gun can handle. Originally I wanted to weld the pipe to the deck plate, but after the wheel adapter welding experience we realized that maybe U-bolts would be a better fit. It didn't turn out too bad. I want to put the skinnies on the trailer too, but for now I don't think I'll have enough time. Wiring a 4-pin into the car was a real treat. I ended up breaking one of the wires off in the vehicle connector. In the trunk there's a connector that goes from solid core wire to multi-strand. And of course I broke the side off that was solid core right in the connector. I ordered the correct pins for the repair job and then finish the job by tapping into the multi-strand side. Later this week I plan to go on to the track and see if it still does its thing. Hopefully we'll have a good track day and some footage to show from that.